So I wanted to make a video about Battlefield 1, my 2 cents, and I know that this is weird because this isn't a Halo related video and this is a Halo channel, but Battlefield 1 is a very hot topic right now, and right now it's kind of the war between Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and Battlefield 1. Now, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare set a record for, I believe, the most disliked gaming-related video on YouTube. Now, I don't know if it really deserves that, but... So here are my thoughts on Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and Battlefield 1. Now, Call of Duty Infinite Warfare... I don't think it had a very good trailer. I think the visuals that they are presenting were actually sadly kind of pathetic. In the past, Call of Duty has been kind of doing these trailers where they say, like, the following footage was captured directly from an Xbox One or a PS4, you know, something like that. And then they show the gameplay, and the gameplay looks last gen. It looks very outdated. The graphics aren't very impressive at all, and it's it's kind of pathetic and almost, like, cute, you know, that they're trying to pass off these outdated visuals as very impressive. And luckily, the Infinite Warfare trailer did not do that. It just kind of like was like, yeah, this is what the game looks like. So I appreciated that they weren't trying to pretend that their game looked impressive or anything, and the gameplay that we saw from the trailer for Infinite Warfare, it was very linear, it was very on rails. Most of it were scripted cinematic sequences, you know, the stuff that I hate in first-person shooters, when the controller gets yanked from you by the game and you're forced to watch your guy wave his hands in front of the screen as he's falling off a building or something, and you just have no control over any of it, or getting into a jet or something, just actions that you have no control over. Most of the Infinite Warfare trailer wasn't even gameplay, and so I didn't really know what to think. I mean, I thought that it was kind of sad that they're just doing the space thing all over again. The setting, I will give them, looks interesting. This idea of like a space civil war thing going on. Now, it's not exactly the most original concept in the world, but the way that the Call of Duty Infinite Warfare trailer was presenting it, I mean, it could have been a cool game, but sadly, with my experience with the Call of Duty franchise, what we're going to get is a very linear campaign, lots of QTEs, a very meh story, and the multiplayer is just going to be 6v6 with loadouts and kill streaks and 3-lane map design. Nothing very impressive, nothing mind-blowing. And so it's kind of sad to see Call of Duty take this interesting concept and just based on their track record, you know, we don't know anything yet. But based on their track record, I'm expecting them to basically take this interesting concept and just do nothing with it and make another Call of Duty game. And on top of that, like, what for me was the final nail in the coffin for the trailer of Infinite Warfare was the use of Space Odyssey. It was a David Bowie song. David Bowie recently passed away. It was quite sad to see that happen just out of nowhere. And a legend like David Bowie just kind of yanked from us. And it was kind of shitty that Activision took a David Bowie song and made a rock cover version of it for their call. It's like, wow, how dare you? Like, how disrespectful are you to do that to a classic David Bowie song at the time of his death? So, Infinite Warfare, I think, had a very, very just misguided reveal. I don't think it was anything really impressive. And then in the other ring, we have Battlefield 1, and Battlefield 1 is doing something that people have been requesting for so many years. I remember when this whole futuristic, let's copy Titanfall, let's copy Destiny thing started in the first-person shooter genre, and it was about 2 years in when people were like, okay, we're sick of the future, can we have another World War II shooter? And now Battlefield 1 is delivering us a World War I shooter. Now, one of the reasons I think that they're doing World War I is politics. You know, if they were to do a World War II shooter, they wouldn't be able to show any Nazi, the swastika. They wouldn't be able to show that or anything because they want to be able to sell the game in Germany, uncensored and all that. And obviously World War II was a very controversial, well, I'm saying this about warfare, you know, like warfare's not controversial. You know, Modern Warfare 2 especially kind of, It hit a lot of people's buttons, especially Germany. You know, to this day, Germany still is not very happy when there's Nazi propaganda, or not propaganda, but Nazi imagery in video games. So a lot of shooters now try to stay away from the World War II setting, but World War I is close enough, and Battlefield 1 is delivering exactly what the gaming community has been asking for years. And the Battlefield 1 trailer, on top of that, where Call of Duty failed to deliver anything that looked like a current-gen video game, Battlefield 1 looks like it's pushing the limits of the Frostbite engine in terms of what it can do, and in fact, in a lot of areas, it looks like they've adopted some of the upgrades that the Battlefront game did to the Battlefield engine, you know, the Frostbite engine. So Battlefield 1 looks shockingly realistic. I mean, I know that a lot of games like to do the in-engine footage stuff, and usually the final game doesn't actually look like that, but based on Battlefield's track record and DICE's track record, if they say, yeah, the game is going to look like this, the game is usually going to look like this, if not even better. Star Wars Battlefront, I remember its reveal and thinking, there is no way the game is going to look like this. Sure enough, the game looked like it, and even better in some areas. Same with Battlefield 4. DICE are developers that know how to make very, very pretty looking games. Battlefield 4 still to this day is one of the best looking games on the Xbox One, and it's one of my favorite games. And, well, Battlefield 1's trailer, I think, also kind of made the sin of not actually showing us any gameplay. Most of the stuff that I did see was from the third person. Some of it looked like a mixture of actual multiplayer footage, and some of it looked like campaign footage. But where Call of Duty showed a lot of scripted cinematic sequences, Battlefield 1 looked like it was taking more of just... It was taking moments from the campaign and maybe some kind of multiplayer match, and it was going into third person and showing you these battles from the third person. So there was a little bit more gameplay in the Battlefield 1 trailer. It was just being presented from the third person. And also, on top of that, the Battlefield formula, we already know what it's like. You know, a lot of people like to joke, Call of Duty, it's the same crap every year, which it kind of is. But Battlefield is also kind of the same way. Battlefield hasn't really changed much, but the things that Battlefield does change are welcome changes. Like we saw in Battlefield 3, where the animations and the physics and stuff and everything were kind of more streamlined. The visuals were prettied up a little bit from Bad Company 2, and then with Battlefield 4, we saw even more upgrades to the engine and the way that the wind and weather interact with everything, and we saw more destructible environments and physics things done to the Frostbite engine. And then Battlefront, I mean, wow, you know, Battlefront took the Frostbite engine and really pushed how it could present visuals on screen. And it looks like with Battlefield 1, I'm expecting even more small but good upgrades to the engine, as opposed to Call of Duty, where their idea of innovating is, let's copy something from a better first-person shooter, you know, like like Black Ops 3, how they ripped off Titanfall with the wall running, and Destiny with the superpowers. And so overall, Battlefield 1, I am incredibly excited about it. We haven't seen any real gameplay, but you know what? Just knowing Battlefield, I know exactly what the game's going to play like, and I am perfectly fine with that, and I cannot wait for Battlefield 1, and just kind of like a return to the grittier, dirtier side of warfare. You know, I'm so tired of all this futuristic nonsense, and, you know, kudos to DICE. I was really impressed with the Battlefield 1 trailer, and I know that the people over at Activision are probably freaking out right now because Battlefield 1, I have a feeling this is going to be the year where Battlefield kind of takes over the Call of Duty franchise. So tell me what you guys think about Battlefield 1 versus Call of Duty Infinite Warfare in the comment section below, guys, and stay tuned for the clip of the day.